The plague that has stricken Yharnam has left many of Yharnam's residents in various states of transformation into all manner of savage beasts, but the Cleric beast is undoubtedly one of the largest malformed beasts that hunters are bound to encounter. This creature's emaciated form belies its immense power, and its piercing cry will make even a hardened hunter think twice. Firstly, stock up on blood vials, quicksilver bullets, and Molotov cocktails before facing the Cleric beast. If you've obtained the Saw Hunter badge from the Boar Tunnel, you can also buy a full load of knives. Oil urns will amplify the damage from Molotovs, and are particularly effective in this fight due to the Cleric beast's weakness to fire. A few can be found throughout Yharnam, and collecting them is well worth it. If you don't already have a weapon that inflicts bonus damage against beast-type enemies, you can purchase one from the shop after obtaining the Saw Hunter badge, or pick up the Saw Spear in the dry dock. A little extra defense never hurts either. If you're still wearing your starting equipment, you can replace it with the Yharnam Hunter set from the shop or the slightly better Hunter set found in the Aqueduct. Search Central Yharnam for bloodstone shards before the battle to upgrade your weapons, and don't hesitate to spend those spare blood echoes on a couple of levels. Even a small increase to your overall strength can make a difference. Note that you won't be able to level up until you've returned to the Hunter's Dream with Insight. You can earn one by encountering the Cleric Beast or Father Gascoigne, or by gathering Madman's Knowledge, two of which are located in Central Yharnam. Overview. You'll face the Cleric Beast at the far end of the Great Bridge, spanning Central Yharnam. It attacks with straightforward claw swipes, slams, lunges, and leaps, and becomes more aggressive when its health drops below 70%. While this boss moves slowly, its lunging attacks cover long distances, and its horizontal swings have considerable range. Additionally, many of its attacks have heavy forward momentum, and will hit you if you try to evade by backing away. The Cleric Beast uses no magic or projectiles of any kind. Its only means of hitting you at a distance are its jump attacks and forward lunges. Strategy. The Cleric Beast's head and all four of its limbs can be injured separately, stunning it and giving you a few seconds to pile on additional attacks. Its wounded limbs will also take 50% more damage. Hitting its head with gunshots, thrown weapons, or melee attacks will stagger it, allowing you to inflict heavy damage with visceral attacks. It will eventually heal any damage to its parts of the body, restoring their defense to normal but also allowing you to injure them again. The Cleric Beast is highly weak against fire, and will take heavy damage from Molotovs, especially if you hit it with an oil urn first. Its head also takes double damage, so you can douse it in oil and hit it in the face with a Molotov to cut a huge chunk of its health. Weapons with damage bonuses against beasts, such as the Saw Cleaver and the Saw Spear, are very effective to this boss. Environment. The boss area is a long, narrow bridge littered with rubble and abandoned horse-drawn carriages. The smaller carriages will be destroyed if the Cleric Beast hits them with any of its attacks, giving you a little more room to maneuver. If you run out of ammunition, a corpse at the far end holds 10 quicksilver bullets. It's very easy to get backed into a corner and end up fighting close quarters, which puts you at a severe disadvantage. So try to fight using the full length of the bridge to keep a safe distance between yourself and the boss when you're not attacking. Old Hunter Summons. Location: Old Hunter Father Gascoigne. Summoned by the fountain past the burning effigy the townsfolk gather around. Requirements: this works only before you initiate the Father Gascoigne boss battle. After you have started the boss battle against him, he can no longer be summoned for this fight. Old Hunter Alfred. Summoned by the Gilbert's house down the stairs shortcut from the central Yarnum lamp. Requirements: you must have spoken to Alfred and agreed to cooperate with him. If you shift time into night, Alfred moves to his new position outside the Forbidden Woods. His summon sign disappears and won't be available for the boss fight. Notes: during the Cleric Beast grab attack animations, damage cannot be reduced by repeatedly pressing buttons. Despite the Cleric Beast having 999 slow poison and rapid poison resistances, it is still vulnerable to such status. All enemies and bosses, except hunter enemies, have 999 frenzy resistance, despite that they are still vulnerable to such status. The only way to see it without modding is to use the Shaman Bone Blade on enemy inflicting frenzy to attack others. After you defeat the boss, Great Bridge Lamp will appear, which will allow you to warp to the Hunter's Dream. Attack Patterns, Phase 1. 1-2 Slam. Slams left arm on the ground in front of it, jumps forward and slams right arm. Roll forward through it. One-armed grab. Executed with the left arm, slow wind up, roll behind it or quick step backwards. Overhead slam combo. Quicker version of the overhead smash, with up to 3 hits. Quick step forward past it. Lunging swipe. Lunges forward and swipes a wide frontal arc with its left arm. Quick step forward or to the right. Recovery. Surrounds itself in a red aura and heals its injured limbs or head. Repairs body damage. No HP. Phase 1 Strategy. The Cleric Beast has 2 targetable points on its body. One mid-abdomen, the other on its head. The best way to begin the battle is to target its head with gunshots, throwing knives or molotovs to stagger it. Then, follow through with a visceral attack. The safest place to stand is directly behind the boss, though be warned that it will occasionally rotate its upper body to strike behind. By standing back just far enough to avoid these swings, you can attack the boss as it recovers from its actions or attempts to turn toward you. Most of the Cleric Beast's heavy attacks have forward momentum and will always connect if you attempt to evade or back up. Instead, quick step forward or sideways in the opposite direction of the swing. Due to the boss's hunched posture, rolling or quick-stepping through its legs is impossible most of the time. The best approach is to fight it without locking on or evade through its close-range attacks by rolling behind it, where it will have trouble hitting you. Standing directly in front of it places you in range of its fastest attacks and should be avoided if at all possible. Although doing so will trigger its slow grab attacks and provide you with opportunities to hit it in the head with your melee weapons. If you need to heal, back off and put as much distance as possible between yourself and the boss. If you're far enough away to be out of reach of its jump attacks, there's nothing it can do to prevent you from using a few blood vials. Attack patterns, Phase 2. Two-armed grab. Slower wind-up, strafe or quick step backward. Double slam combo. Slow 3-hit combo ending with a downward slam, quick step in any direction. Slow overhead smash. Delayed ground slam with a delayed follow-up. If you're closer, quick step forward or backward. Jump attack. Leaps high into the air and performs a falling slam. Dash or roll forward as it passes over you. Phase 2 strategy. When its health has been reduced to 70%, the Cleric beast will roar, announcing the start of Phase 2. From this point onward, it will begin attacking more aggressively with longer combos and lunges, and striking its head becomes much harder. You can still hit it with an oil urn or Molotovs during its recovery periods, dealing large amounts of damage from outside of its melee range. If you have any throwing knives, you can use them to deal damage from a safe distance. The Cleric beast will begin using stronger variations of its grab and combo attacks during this phase, but you can avoid them in the same manner as their Phase 1 versions. Due to the boss's more frequent attacks and erratic movement during Phase 2, locking onto it in close combat can decrease your availability to keep track of it and evade its attacks. If you experience this problem, continue fighting while locked off. Father Gascoigne. A lone person standing in a graveyard among the whirling ashes. He's Bloodied Hunter. He looks like an experienced veteran, but details are unknown. The dingy scarf is a holy shawl and a symbol of the healing church, from which Gascoigne would eventually part ways. Father is a title used for clerics in a foreign land, and there is no such rank in the healing church. Gascoigne exhibits strength in battle, and has an imposing height, towering over the hunter. He is dressed in a typical attire of the healing church. Preparation. Leveling up before facing Gascoigne is a very good idea. To do so, you'll need to get at least 1 point of insight before returning to the hunter's dream. The doll will then be available to use. If you're having trouble, increase your vitality. Every level will raise your defense, but raising your vitality also increases your HP for extra survivability. You should also fully explore Central Yharnam in order to find 8 bloodstone shards. You can use these at the workbench in the Hunter's Dream to upgrade your weapons to +2, greatly increasing your damage. If you don't have any Molotovs for Phase 3, consider buying some from the shop. Finally, make certain that you've started the little girl's quest to receive the tiny music box from her. This can be used to stun Gascoigne during the fight. Before the fight, equip your tiny music box and Molotovs in your quick items, as well as throwing knives if you choose to use them. It's recommended to remove other items so that they don't get in the way before battle. If you've done all this and are still having trouble, you can stockpile blood echoes safely between the central Yarnum lamp and the dog kennels. Every additional point of vitality will help. You can also go online and use a beckoning bell to summon another player for help at the cost of 1 point of insight. Overview. You'll face Father Gascoigne after crossing Central Yarnum's lower bridge. During Phase 1, he will attack you with his Hunter Axe and Hunter Blunderbuss. He uses the normal Hunter Axe moveset with a couple additions, such as the Rising Shear. He will also shoot at you when you're at a medium range. Be warned that he will sometimes shoot you if you are dodging backwards away from his melee. After losing 20% of his health, he will transform his weapon to begin Phase 2. Sometimes the timing of this transformation varies. He likes to have some space before he extends his axe. His attacks are a bit slower in this phase, but he has a lot more range. His spin slash hits twice, so be careful when dodging forward. He'll start using his jumping attacks to close the distance, but be warned that unlike a player using the Hunter Axe, he can still shoot you. After losing 70% of his health, he will change into a beast, and Phase 3 begins. He will become very fast and aggressive, but he gains weaknesses to both fire and saw attacks. Strategy. In his first phase, quick-stepping and using charged attacks is a good idea until you're familiar with Gascoigne's attacks. Use interrupts when up close once you begin to recognize his slower attacks. When he transforms his weapons, you can switch to using your throwing knives to move him into Phase 3. While he's transforming, use a Molotov, and then use the environment and the music box to slow him down while you finish him with more Molotovs. Environment. The graves and trees can get in the way of your attacks and movement, but Gascoigne can get stuck on them as well. There are also stairs that lead up to an upper terrace, a clear, open space with plenty of room for you to move, and there's a broken rail that will allow you to jump down to heal when needed. Where you choose to fight Gascoigne should be based on which aspect of the fight causes you the most trouble. If you're getting stuck on obstacles, fighting upstairs may be better for you. If his gunshots are more annoying to deal with, having the trees and graves to block them may be more valuable. Be warned that in Phase 3, Gascoigne can destroy the small graves with his attacks. The large, central monument can still be used to slow him down, however. Notes. Despite Father Gascoigne having 999 slow poison and rapid poison resistance, he can still be vulnerable to such attacks. All enemies and bosses, except hunter enemies, have 999 frenzy resistance. despite that they are still vulnerable to such status. The only way to see it without modding is to use the Shaman Bone Blade on enemies inflicting frenzy to attack each other. Father Gascoigne used to drop 1,800 blood echoes in previous patches, but on the current one, 1.09, the value is 3,200 blood echoes. Use the tiny music box. You can use this item you got from the young girl to stunlock Gascoigne, making him vulnerable for a moment. But beware, if you use it 3 times in his human form, he will immediately transform in no regards to his remaining HP. In his beast form, you can use it once and he will ignore it for the rest of the fight. Father Gascoigne makes a different dying sound if you kill him before he transforms into the beast. After you defeat Father Gascoigne, a lamp tomb of Odin will appear, which will allow you to warp to the hunter's dream. During Alpha, Gascoigne is found for the first time in Yharnam, at the beginning of the stone bridge where the Cleric beast is fought. If the player approaches him, he will help the player against 2 Scourge beasts. Attack patterns in human form. Scattergun burst. Quick step through it. Horizontal chop. Quick step in the opposite direction of the swing. Spark uppercut. Interrupted or quick step through it. Jump attack. Interrupted or quick step forward or sideways. Charged spin. Used after transforming his axe, identical to the player version of the charged R2. Quick step backward. Phase 1 strategy. During Phase 1, focus on quick-stepping through Gascoigne's attacks and countering with R1 or L1 combos. You should dodge forward through Gascoigne so that you pass through his attacks to get behind him. The R1 will cause him to flinch, and the L1 will cause him to stumble. After the L1, be ready to roll through him again. After a slight pause, he will either attack you again or quick step and shoot his gun. Roll through his attack and attack him again, but don't bother trying to continue the combo after the first L1. Sometimes you can, but he will often quick step back and shoot you out of it. If he hits you twice, back off and heal. If you stay in the lower area, try to position a tree or large tombstone between you and Gascoigne. If on the upper level, drop down on the small roof to heal, then drop down on the ground and head back upstairs. When attacking, stay close so that he doesn't shoot often. When healing, make sure that you have cover to block bullets. The one attack to watch out for is his rising shear. It's slightly slower than his normal attack, so you need to dodge forward a little bit later. An alternate strategy to this phase is to shoot him during his attacks for an interrupt. When he staggers after the interrupt, you can use a visceral attack to deal a lot of damage quickly. If you're confident in your timing, this is an easy way to win. Phase 2 strategy. Phase 2 is largely the same as Phase 1. You can fight him in the same way, but there are a couple new attacks to watch out for. His jumping attack is used from long range and hits hard, so either stay close or be ready to dodge. His spin attack hits twice in the area around him, so you need to dodge either backward out of its range or forward through the attack. Once again, gunshot interrupts are a viable alternative strategy. Just remember that the timing will be slightly later since he's holding a two-handed version of the axe. You can also back off a bit and use throwing knives if you like, since he shoots less often during this phase. The downside of this tactic is that it puts you at the range from which he likes to use his jumping attack. If you keep space behind you to dodge backwards, this can be okay. Consider fighting upstairs if you want to use this method. Attack patterns in beast form. Aerial dive. Leaps high into the air, hovers momentarily, and dives at the player's current location. Roll towards him. Downward slam. Raises arms slowly and slams the ground. Strafe backward and interrupt it, or quick step forward past him. Claw combo. Fast hits with heavy forward momentum. Quick step forward or sideways and strafe behind him. Howl. Not an offensive move, mainly an opportunity for players to get in a few hits or oil him. Phase 3 strategy. Phase 3 will begin with his transformation. Use your tiny music box just as the transformation ends. He will stumble before finally roaring and shaking himself free from the stun. While he is stunned, quickly use your Molotovs, making sure that you've locked on and are not too far away. 2 Molotovs will greatly weaken him. If you manage to land 3, he will be nearly dead. To finish Gascoigne off, there are 3 main strategies: running away and using items, dodging through his attacks and striking him from behind, and using gunshot interrupts. If you choose to run away and use Molotovs and throwing knives, try to use the large central monument to slow them down. And only throw an item while he's recovering from a missed attack. Option 2 is to stay close. As in Phase 2, if he lands his downward slam, be prepared to dodge past him instead of away. This will position you well, and also prevent him punishing your escape with a jump attack. Additionally, try baiting Gascoigne to do his claw combo and immediately circling around to your right to reach his back. You are safe behind him once he initiates the combo, which provides you with plenty of time to heal or get damage in. If you have a quick weapon, you can easily land a charged R2 attack, while this strategy is followed by a visceral attack for major damage. The final strategy is by far the most risky. Gascoigne can be interrupted using gunshots in this phase, but he is so fast and aggressive that one miss can end your life. This method is stylish, but not for the faint of heart. If you get hit, remember the monument or to drop off the roof as a way to buy time and heal.